everyone. Hope you all are doing great. Today we're going to learn on the topic that is more multiplications and divisions. So let's begin. So we are going to start with more multiplications first. Multiplications we have already learned in the previous lessons about different strategies, using different strategies on multiplications, right? So we're going to learn today, we're going to learn one more strategies, that is using non-5. Alright, so let's begin. So how do we use this non-5? Is that example, suppose if I know 3 times 4 is 12. Suppose I know that is 3 times 4 is 12, right? Then I know that 30 times 40 will be how much? I know that 3 times and 3 times 4 is 12. So I have here 3 and 4 here. So I write 12. And then here 2 0 I have. So I write 2 0. So that's how we find. Now let's take another example. Suppose 6 times 9. Suppose if I'm not sure of these answers, how to get the answers, what I can do is, I'm going to split any one of this factor, that is 3 times 9, that will be called factors, and the answers that we get after multiplication we call the product, right? So here, out of this 2 factor, I'm going to use 1 factors and break down into 2 parts. That is into smaller number to make the problem easier for us. So let's try. So I'm going to use this 6 and break this 6 into 2 parts, into 2 number. So I'm going to take 5 and 1. 5 and 1. So that's make 5 and 1 together make 6, right? So since I'm not sure of these answers, that's why I break this number into smaller number. That way I can find the answers, right? So I've used 5 and 1, right? So why I've used 5 is 5 times, keep counting of 5 is more easier. So I've used 5 and then 1. That is 5 plus 1 makes 6. So let's try. So I know that 5 times. So I'm going to use this 5 and multiply it with this other factor. Done? So 5 times 9 is how much? I know that 5 times, that is 5 times 9, this one is 45, right? And then I have this 1 here. Now this one I'm going to multiply again with this 9. That is 1 times 9 is 9. So how, and after we multiply, what we have to do is 80. So 5 and 9 makes 14. So I'm going to write 4 and take 1 to the other place. And now I have 1 and 4, that makes 5, that is 54. So I got 54, that means 6 times 9 is 54. So if we read the table of 6, we get 6 times 9, 54, right? So whenever you're not sure of the answers, we can do it in this way, that is by using non-fact strategy, that is breaking the number into smaller number to make the problem easier to get the answers, right? Now we're going to do some of the exercise from your textbook. Alright, let's start with this exercise. This question is taken from your exercise, that is question number 5, right? So let's find out this problem. Now here I have this non-5, that is which we already know. That is, the first one is, it says 34, that is 34 times 5 equal 170. That means it says 34 times 5 is 170. And then using this non-5, we are going to find the calculations for this number. That is 34 times 6 is how much, right? So we know that 34 times 5 is 170. So using this, we're going to find these calculations over here, the answers, right? So let's start. It says 34 times 6 is how much? We know that 34 times 5 is 170, right? We're going to find the answers for these questions. That is 34 times 6 is how much? So how do we do is, what am I going to do is, I'm going to take this 6 and break it into 2 numbers. I know that 34 times 5 is 170. So I'm going to break this 6 into as like this, 5 and 1. So I know that 5 plus 1 makes 6. So why I've used 5 here is, here they have used this 5 over here, that is 34 times 5 is 170. So to get the answers, So I've used this 5 over here and then 1. Remaining is 1. So 5 plus 1, 6. Right? So what am I going to do is, since I already know 34 times 5 is 170. So 34 times, that is 5 times 34 times, that is with this 5 is 170 already, right? So I write 34 times 5 equal 170. Done? Now I have 1 over here. So 1 you multiply with this 34 again. So 34 times with this 1 equal 34. Right? Now what do we do is, after we multiply, 80. 0 plus 4 is 4. 7 plus 3 is 10. So we write 0. And we take this 1 to the other side. So 1 plus 1, that's make 2. So we got our answers 204. So we write here 204. So that's how we calculate the answers using this non 5. That is, here it says 34 times 5 is 170. So I break the 6 into two smaller number, that is 5 and 1. So I know that 34 times 5 is 170. So 170, and then plus 34 times 1 is 34, 80. You will get the answers. So that's how we're going to do for this B, that is this second one, and this C questions. Alright? Now let's do the second one, that is B. It says 34 times 4 is 192, and then we're going to find the answers for this 48 times 8 is how much, right? So we know that 48 times 4 is 192. And we will find 448 times 8. Right? So how do we do here? What we're going to do is, we know that double of 4, this is 4 and this is 8. We know that double of 4 is 8. So I'm going to split this number, write this number into 2, double it, that is 4 and 4. Together makes 8, right? So I already know that 48 times 4 is 192. So I'm going to add 192 2 times, okay? So 48 times 4, I know that is 192. And another for this 4, 48 times 4 is 192, right? And then now 80. So 2 plus 2, that makes 4. 9 plus 9, that is 18, right? So we write 8. And 1, we bring it to the other place. So we have how much? 1, 1, 1, that is 3. So our answer says 308. That is 384. Alright? So that means 48 times 8 is how much? 384. Now we will go to this number C questions. Now let's do this third one, that is 54 times 6 equal 324. And then we're going to find for this 54 times 3 equal dash. So we know that 54 times 6 is 324. And then it says to find the answers for this, that is 54. 54 times 3 is how much? Right? Now, since I know that 54 times 6 is 324, and then here they have given a number that is 3. Now this number is small. I know that, and I know that when I look at this 6 and this 3, I know that half of 6 is 3, right? So what I'm going to do is to get the answers. Since half of 6 is 3, so what am I going to do is I'm going to find half of this 324. So if I find, so we have to get the answers, we have to do is divide it by 2 to get the half of this 324. Alright? So how do we do? To get the half, what we have to do is simply you divide it. That is 324, you divide it by 2. Done? So what is the first digit number? It's 3. So let's read the table. That is, we know that 2 times 1 is 2. And 2 times 2 makes 4. So if I take 2 times 4, this 4 is big, so I'm going to go for this less number, that is 2. So 2 times 1 is 2, minus 8, 3 minus 2, you get 1. So what is the next digit? That is 2. Make an arrow, bring down this 2 over here, next to this 1. So that's make 12. So we know that 2 times 6 is 12, that is 2, 6. The answer is 12, so we write 12. Minus 8, so 12 minus 12 is 0, right? So what is the next digit? We have 4, make it longer arrow this time, and then bring this 4 over here, next to this 0. Now, this is 4, we know that 2 times 2 is 4, right? So I write here 2, that is 2 times 2, 4. Minus 8, got your remainder 0, so that means we got the answer is 162. That is half of 324 is 162. So you can either divide it to get the answers, that is half of this number, that is 324, or you can do it another way. That is 324. 3 is in the 100 place, so I can make it into half. That is half of 300 is 150, right? That is 100, 100. 100, 100, that's make 200, divide 8, 50, 50, so that's make 150, 150, that's make 300. So half of this 300 is 150. This is in the tens place, so 20. If I make it into half, that's make half of 20 is 10. And then here 4, if I make it into half, that means half of 4 is 2. So 150, 10, and 2. 80. How much you got? 0, 0, 2 is 2, and 5 plus 1 is 6, and then this 1 with nothing, that is 1. So we got the same answers, that is 162. So you can do either of this method to find the answers. Alright? So let's go to the next questions. Let's do one more questions from your exercise. This is also taken from your exercise, that is question number 1. Alright? Now this one is about multiplication triangle. How do we do this? Now here the question says the product of the two circles. We have two circles, we have circle, circle, right? So the product of the two circles on each line, so these are the line, is a number in the square. So that means the product of these two circles number will be in the square. So product means when you multiply two numbers, you get the answers, right? The answers is called the product, okay? So the answers of the product we're going to write in the square. Alright, so here we have this question here. This circle number is empty. We have to find the circle number for this, and then for this square, and for this square. Okay, so it says according to questions, it says the answers will be in the square, right? So here we have 4. So how do we do this? We're going to read the table of 4 to get the answers for this circle. Okay, so when we read the table of 4, we find that 4 times 5 is equal to 20, right? So I'm going to write this 5 over here. So when I multiply 4 times 5, I get the answers 20, right? So that's how we find the answers for the circle, okay? Now I have this circle number here and circle number here. And then I need to find for this square box, right? So how do we do is, it says the product will be here, right? So I'm going to take this 5 and then this 9 and multiply to get the answers for this, right? So read the table of 5, that is 5 times 9 is how much? That is 5 times 9, I know that is 45. So I'm going to write this 45, that is the product, the answers in the square. Okay, same way we're going to do it for this here. Yeah, so we have 4 and 9, so we're going to read the table of 4. When we read the table of 4, we find that 4, 9 is 36, right? So the answer is 36, so we're going to write this 36 inside this square box. So know that to get the square, you have to multiply the circle number to get the answers for this square, okay? So next we will go to this divisions topic, okay? So divisions means, first let us understand what is the divisions before we go straight into this strategy. Here in this divisions also we're going to learn some of the strategies on divisions. So before we go straight into the divisions, first let us understand what do you mean by divisions. So divisions means distributing a group of things into equal parts, or splitting the number into equal parts or equal groups, or breaking a number into equal number of parts is called divisions. So let's learn some of the strategies on divisions. Right, now let's learn some of the strategies on divisions. So we have already learned the strategies on multiplications. We will go to the divisions now. So we have three strategies which we're going to learn today. That is, the first one is halving and then halving again. So, and the second one is using a number line, and the third one is repeated subtractions. Okay? So we have these divisions questions over here, that is 64 divided by 4. So in the divisions we call it this bigger number as the dividend, that is the number which we divide, that is 64 is called the dividend, which you already know, which you have already learned. That is 64, the bigger number is called this divisions, and the number by which we divide is called the divisor. Done, and the answers that we get is called the quotients. Quotients. Okay? So let's try it out using this first method, that is halving and halving again. Alright? So it says halving and halving, so we're going to first find out half of this number, and then again we're going to do half of the number which we get. Okay? So we'll use this. How do we use this? 64. How do we do? So we are going to find half of this number, right? We have already learned to find half, we divide it by 2, right? So we can do it in this way, that is 64 to find the half, divide it by 2, alright? So that is, the first digit is 6, so we know that 2 times 3 is 6, so we write 6 down here, minus 6 minus 6 is 0, right? Now bring down this 4 over here, so that makes 4. Let's read the table of 2 again. We know that 2 times 2 is 4, right? So we write 2, that is 2 times 2 is 4. So write 4. So 2, 2, 4, right? So 4 minus 4, that makes 0. So we got our answer is 32. So this 32 is half of 64, right? So what we're going to do is, again we have to find half of this 32 again. So how do we do? 32, we divide it again by 2 to get half of 32. So your first digit is 3. So I can go for 2, 1, 2. I cannot go for 2, 2, 4, right? If I take 2, 2, 4, 4 is bigger. 4 is big, so I'm going to go for a smaller number. That is 2, 1, 2. Minus it. 3 minus 2, that is 1. And then your next number is 2, so bring down this 2. Next to is 1, so that's make 12. I know that 2 times 6 is 12, so I write 12. So minus it, we got 0. That is 12 minus 2 minus 2 is 0, 1 minus 1 is 0, right? So we got as 16. So half of 64 is 32, and another half of 32 is 16. So that means 64 divided by 4 is 16. So that's how we find, that is halving and then halving again. Or you can do it in another way, is that 64, right? So you can split it into 2 parts, that is 6. 6 is in the tens place, so that will be taken as 60, right? And then find half of the 60. We know that half of 60 is 30, right? And then 4, this 4 you divide it into 2 parts, that is half of 4. We know that it's 2, right? Half of 60 is 30, half of 4 is 2. So we got our answers as 32, right? That is half of 64 is 32. So what do we do is, we have to take this 32 and make it into half again, like how we did here. So half of 30. So let's break it, half of 30. So half of 30 is 15, right? So we know that 10, 10, and then if I 8, 5, 5, so that's make 10, 20, and then 5 and 5 together, that's make 30, right? So that means half of 30 is 15. And then half of 2 is how much? We know that it's 1. 80, that is 15 plus 1, that makes 60. So we got the same answers, right? So you can use either of these two methods, any one, to find the answers. Okay? Now let's go to this second method, second strategy, that is by using a number line. Now let's go to the next strategy, that is by using number line. Now here it says 64 divided by 4. What is the answers? How do we get the answers? By using a number line. Now if I make a number line with 64, it's going to be long. It says divided by 4. So if I count by 4 times, it's going to be very long, right? So what am I going to do is I'm going to make this 4 into 10 group. So if I make it into 10 group, that is 10 loads of 4. So 10 lots of 4, that is 10 group of 4 is 40, right? So 4, 4, 4, 10 times, that makes 40. So I'm going to count back 40 times. So I'm going to jump back 40 times. So if I go back 40 times, that is 40, that is 4, 4, 4, 4, 10 times. What is the answers that I get? I know the 10 lots of 4 is 40. So from 64, if I go back 40 times, so what is the answers? I get 24, right? So if I go back 4, 4, 4, 10 times, I get the number that is 24. So I write here 24. Done? And then let's read the table of 2. I know that 4 times 6 is 24, right? So to get exactly 0, I'm going to take, that is 4 times 6 is 24, so I'm going to take 6 groups. Straight away 6 groups instead of going 4, 4, 4 each time. So I'm going to go for 6 group of 4. That is 6 group of 4 is 24 exactly, right? So if I divide exactly 24, so it will stop at 0. Done? So how many groups I have taken? I have taken 1 as 6 group, and then 1, the other one is 10. So that means 6 and 10, that makes 16, sorry. That makes 16. So that means 64 divided by 4 equals 16. So that's how we use this number line to find the answers. So instead of going back 4, 4, 4, it's going very long. That's why I've taken 10 groups. Straight away 10 groups of 4. So minus it, you got 24. So stop at 24. Your number line will stop at 24. And then 24, I know that 4 times, that is 6 is 24 exactly. So your number line will stop at 0. So your answer is, I've taken here 6 groups and then 10 groups. So 6 and 10, that makes 16. So that's how we use the number line to find the answers. Now we will go next to these repeated subtractions. So repeated subtractions means we will keep on repeating, okay? That is, we will keep on subtracting 4 each time, alright? So let's do. So we will go to the next one, that is repeated subtractions, okay? So repeated subtractions means we will keep on subtracting 4 times each, okay? That is 64, I have 64. So if I keep on subtracting 4 for each time, it's going to be long. Just like how we did for the number 9, instead of going back 4, 4 each time, we went straight away to 10 group, right? So same way over here, we're going to do it in that same method, that is 4 times 10. So I'm going to go straight away with 4 times 10. That is 4 times 10 is 40, right? So if I take 4, 4, 4, 4, 10 times, I get 40. So I'm going to go straight away with 40. That is 4 times 10. So I get how much? That is 4 and 2. That makes 24. So whichever way you find it easy, you can do it in that way. You can take either 4, 5, 20 and then subtract it, or anyway, whatever way you find it easy, you can go with that. And then I have 24. I know that 4, 6 is 24. So instead of subtracting, you can go in this way also. That is 24 minus 6. It says repeated subtraction, so you're going to keep on subtracting each time, right? So instead of subtracting 4 each time, since the number is small and this number is big, it's going to be long. So to make it short, I'm going to do it in this way. That is 4 times 6. I know that 4 times 6 is 24 exactly, right? So I'm going to write 24 over here. So minus it, we get 0, right? So I've taken 10 and 6. So 10 plus 6, that makes 16. right? So that's how we use this repeated subtraction strategy to find. So these are the three strategies. You can use any of the strategies to find the answers. But one thing you have to remember is that when you're doing it for halving and halving again there, know that this divisor number has to be 4, okay? And then this dividend number has to be even. If it is not even, it will be difficult for us to find half of the number, alright? So that's the strategies of divisions. We will do one more questions from your exercise. Now let's do some of the word problems from your exercise. That is 7 and 8, which is taken from your exercise only. We have the first question says, Ibir has 87 flowers. 87 flowers. She puts 10 flowers in each bunch. It says, the question says, how many bunches can she make? So she has 87 flowers, right? And then she puts 10 flowers in each bunch. That means in one bunch, there is going to be 10 flowers each. So how many bunches can she make with this 87 flowers? That's the question, right? So how do we find this? We're going to divide it by 10. So each bunch, she has used 10 flowers, so we're going to divide it equally into 10, right? So divide it by 10. So when we read the table of 10, we know that 10 times 8 is 80, right? And then if I go for 10, 9, that makes 90, which is big. The number is 87, right? So I'm going to go for 80. That is 10 times 8 is 80. So minus it, you got your remainder as 7. So that means if I divide 10 in one bunch, if I put 10 flowers, I can make 8 bunches. And remaining leftover is the 7 flowers. So leftover remaining flowers is 7 only. I cannot make, because I need 10 flowers for one bunch, and then with the 7 flowers I cannot make, right? So these are the leftover flowers, that is 7. So that means with this 87 flowers I can make only 8 bunches. So the answer is 8 bunches. Okay? Now let's go to this next one. It says there are 27 students in a class. That means in a classroom there are 27 students are there. 6 students sit at each table. So one table, each table, 6 students are seated, right? It says how many tables are needed. So how many tables will be needed for 27 students to sit in that particular class? So how do we do is, since in one table there are 6 students, so I'm going to divide this 27 by 6. Okay? So when I read the table of 6, I know that 6 times 4, that is 6 times 4 is 24. And then if I go for 6 times 5, that makes 30. 30 is big. So I'm going to go for this smaller number, that is 6 for 24. I mean 6 times 4 is 24, right? So I'm going to take 6 times 4, 24, remaining is 3. So that means if I let the students to sit in one table, that is 6, I can lay this 4, that means 4, that is 6 students, that means 24 students can be seated in 4 bench, in 4 tables, right? That is 6, right? So 6, if I lay 6. So remaining left over is 3. That means 3 students are left out. I got 4 as an answers, right? That means 4 in 4 tables, 6 students can be seated, and then 3 students are left out. That means I need, for this, in a class there are 27 students, and all these 27 students has to be seated in that particular class. I cannot let this the remaining leftover students, I cannot just take them out, remove from the class, right? So that means I need, for these 3 students also, I need a table again, right? So one more table is needed. So that means, in that case, I'm going to round up this number, that is 4 will become, I'm going to make it, I'll take one more. So that makes how many tables? 5 tables. So I need, that means according to these questions, I need 5 tables to let all these 27 students sit in this particular class. So that's all for today. Thank you for listening. See you in the next video.